Good evening, guys. Happy Thursday to all of your sunshiny faces. So I think I might have mentioned to you guys in yesterday's vlog. I know I said 2 days ago that we were going to have a haul today. I did not, because we weren't able to go because my dad had a doctor's appointment. Also too, my mom and Matthew and my dad had something they had to do too. And then they were also loading Matthew up to go back to school because he was going back to school today. And so then after that, so like my dad came home. He was doing the thing with, like I said, you know, my mom and Matthew, and then they had to go and load him up, and then like literally right after that my dad wants the doctor's appointment. Then he ended up coming home, and guys, we ended up having for dinner tonight, oh my goodness, my mom made like broccoli cheddar cheese soup. Oh my goodness, guys, we had it in bread bowls too. It was so amazing, like amazing. So that's what we ended up having for dinner, which, like I said, I actually took a picture. It was amazing. Honestly too, it was like a copycat sort of like Panera recipe, but I believe the Panera's uses like chicken broth, I think, or something like that. I don't think that it's vegetarian, so I was actually able to have that. I'm not 100% sure if that's true. I think a long time ago it might have been, but they might have changed the recipe possibly since then. But my mom's was vegetarian, and like I said, it tasted like, I don't know, I haven't had Panera's in a really long time, but I want to say it tasted better than Panera's. So anyways, we ended up having that tonight, and then I did wind up actually editing while I was watching the Blackhawks game. Got 2 more vlogs edited. I did upload this morning, and I also did dishes and laundry, and so all that ended up getting done, which was nice. But guys, one thing that I'm going to be doing on next Tuesday, actually, which I wasn't completely sure, well, I mean, everything wasn't completely finalized yet, but I am going over to my aunt's house. I'm going to be staying there for 2 days. Well, like, I think we're going over on Tuesday, like, morning, and then I think I'm gonna leave on Thursday. So I tried to do that too, to kind of schedule it so that, like, because my mom works obviously Sunday nights into Sunday morning, you know, early morning, and so she's normally sleeping all day on Monday, so that's why Monday most likely wouldn't have ended up working. And then I figured Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be okay, because then next week we can like do Friday, like the grocery stores and everything like that. Back to the grocery store things. I think I told you guys that we were gonna do the grocery stores again. Weren't able to because, again, my dad was gone for today. However, I'm going to do Jewel tomorrow in the morning with my mom, and then me and my dad are going to go to Meijer and Aldi in the afternoon, and then we're going to do Tony's and Caputo's on Sunday. I think that's how everything's going to work out. But I did realize Jewel has a Saturday sampler for this week, so I'm probably going to wind up stopping in at Jewel maybe on Sunday morning when we go to the other 2 stores, just to pick that up. That's how the grocery store should be looking, the hauls for this week. But again, tomorrow will be like, I'll have a lot to share with you guys, because the bigger stores that I normally wind up shopping at, those will all, I'm going to be doing them all in one day. So anyways, I forgot what I was saying. I'm going over to my aunt's house though next week, because again, we've scheduled it too. I was thinking like kind of ahead of time too. I was like, I don't want to do it over the weekend, but I also don't want to do it, you know, like schedule it like at the end of the week either, so that again I still have time to again do the grocery stores and things like that. But I'm going over to her house because I am going to go and organize her pictures. So I think I shared with you guys, I want to say it was 2 years ago, maybe, honestly, maybe it was 3 years ago, something like that, when we were cleaning, well, not when we were cleaning out our attic, that was actually after we cleaned out our attic after. So before that, I ended up going through all of our pictures, and I think I showed you guys when like sort of, you know, my whole process of everything and how I was organizing everything sort of like by date and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, again, trying to just, you know, because we have a lot of loose pictures. Like, we do have a lot of photo albums, but we also have a lot of loose pictures. And especially too, there was a lot between like 1995 and like 2005, like a 10-year span, like between when I was born and then when everything started to move into the digital age. Like when Jack was born, we have very small, like I think I just have like a 2005 plus, like, you know, onward, because after that we hardly took any like just regular pictures. Like, we were taking everything like with the digital camera, so everything we have like from then on it's almost all like digital pictures. So but like almost every single year from like 1995 on, like they said, to 2000 like 4 I guess, I had like tons of pictures that I needed like a whole like separate, you know, like I needed to separate them out, and I kept them in like I think I'd use like brown paper bags or something like that to store them in. And then I ended up, like everything sort of before that though, there wasn't a lot. So I think I did like between like 80 and 85, like that was when my parents, you know, were, you know, like young. And then I think like 85 to 90 and then like 90 to 95. But like I said, like when I was born, my parents took like millions of pictures, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take a lot of pictures, especially your firstborn. So anyways though, I did wind up like organizing all that too. We had older pictures than that too. Like I think there was a couple of pictures that were like of my great grandparents, like all like black and white old photos from like, you know, probably the 40s or so, probably even before, I want to say even before that, you know, like pictures of my grandma was little and things along those lines. So anyways, we ended up, I, you know, went through all of those a while ago, and other than when we cleaned out the attic and I found a lot more loose pictures, it's all stayed very organized. But I don't know if I'd mentioned it to my aunt, and I know that she brought it up maybe once before, that she really wanted somebody to like go through her pictures, and I think maybe my mom suggested it to her when like I had done ours or something. And so but I, you know, she asked me if at the beginning of this year, like she actually asked me at Christmas when we were over at her house, she asked me if I wanted to go through and sort of like organize all of her pictures. And I was like, honestly, that seems like it'd be pretty fun, because I know that she's got a lot of old pictures, which I would think are just really cool to see. Like I know when my great aunt had passed away, my aunt, she ended up doing like a big like you know, photo board, and a lot of the ones on there were all the ones that like when her and my grandma were little, and you know, like I said, just really old pictures. So I'm really interested to see some of those. So I'd love to go through her pictures and organize them for her, but it's probably, she says it's going to be a very long, like I know I'm going to be there for like 3 days, you know, kind of at least 2 full days, and then she was like, you still might not even be done. So I'm not for sure if she's got more pictures than we do or less pictures than we do, but like I was saying, and it took me probably a couple days to do all of ours, but I felt like I stuck to it pretty well. But there were some times where I kind of got distracted. You know, I was like, oh, like I'm watching TV, and like I wasn't super focused into what I was doing. So anyways, like I was saying, you know, it might actually only take me like a day, and then maybe sleep over the night and then do it the next day. Like it might not even wind up taking me that long, but at the same time too, it might wind up taking me where I have to actually go back and can't finish it. I just know I told her that I'd be there for those 3 days if it ends up taking that long. So like I said, I thought that would be, you know, it's gonna be kind of a fun thing to do, to get to, like I said, see a lot of those old pictures too, because you guys know how much I'm into genealogy and like family history stuff and things like that. So I find that, you know, to be really cool, but also again, you know, just to help her out as well and go through her pictures, and again too, because I like doing it. Like when I went through ours, I was kind of like, I'm a little disappointed now that like all the pictures are organized, because like now I don't have anything else to like organize. And you know, my aunt said that, I was like, oh yes, like I get more pictures to organize. Again too, they're not ones from like, well, I mean, she probably honestly has a lot from like when me and my cousins were little and things like that too, like pictures that I've never seen of myself even, you know, because me and my cousins used to do all kinds of, like, we would, you know, go to all kinds of things together, and my aunt would come along too, and like my grandma, and so I'm sure that, like I said, she's probably got tons of pictures even of, like I said, me and my cousins and all that kind of stuff to go through. But again too, it's just like even things that I might not remember that like maybe I was older for, like, you know, of my other cousins who are more like Jack's age, you know, like their house and stuff like that. I was like, she probably has pictures of like their house. I was like, and you know, like I remember their house, but like, you know, just to like see it again in pictures and be like, oh, like, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know, just it would be really cool. And to see my aunt and uncle's old house too, that like I remember it too, but again, like my memory's a little foggy, so like seeing that, and also 2 pictures from like when my mom was little, like again too, my mom and like her cousins ended up growing up almost like siblings. They were like, see each other like at least a couple couple times a week, you know, like that kind of stuff. And so I'm sure there's tons of pictures of my mom in there, my grandma, like I said too, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents. And so again, that is just, you know, really cool to, like I said, get to go through and see and that kind of stuff. But like I was saying, I know that it's probably, if she at least has about as much as we did, it'll probably take me, again, at least a couple days, or, you know, again, several hours to get through. It's not going to be a super fast thing. And also too, I feel like what took me the longest though was kind of going through everything to just figure out how I wanted to organize everything. And now that I figured out, like, from when I did ours, it might actually be a little bit faster, just because I know kind of like what I need to look for. And I was very, very detailed when I went through our pictures even too. I tried to put everything kind of even in order of like month. Like, so when I went through, I was like, okay, 1996, because that was the first year, you know, like first full year I was born. But you know, I was like, okay, like there were, you know, pictures from like, you know, Valentine's Day party. So those would obviously be more in the beginning. The ones from, you know, and also too, because we had the little, you guys know back in the day when they had the little, right down in the corner, they tell you the date and everything like that. So it would tell you like the date, month, and, you know, year. And so I tried to organize everything by that too. But it was really weird because at one point our camera was like messed up and it didn't print the date properly. Like, it was permanently stuck on like 1999 or something weird like that. And so like it was prior to 2000 though, so it was like still like sometime in the 90s, but for some reason it was like constantly like printing that like it wasn't like set properly or whatever. So there was a period of time where there's like pictures that I actually had to piece together and figure out when they actually were from. But using other pictures, or pictures from photo albums, or pictures that did have like writing on the back or whatever, I was able to actually figure out, you know, some of the stuff on there. So again, I feel like this would be really fun kind of process to go through and do, like I said, with her as well. But you know, like I said, I think going through ours will, you know, again, I don't have to be quite as detailed as I guess I was with you know, like I said, with our pictures, but you know, for her, just as long as they're somewhat organized too. And she was even saying too, like organizing some of them by like family members and things like that too, like, you know, pictures to possibly give to like, you know, like her kids or her grandkids, you know, pictures that they might want and stuff like that. You know, those kind of things, like she might want to, you know, have them organized kind of by that a little bit. She might want them organized by date. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, I know that she writes on the back of her pictures a lot. So if I can kind of find stuff, you know, it's not going to be too hard to figure all of that out. But again, it's like the way I wind up working too is I'm like, okay, anything that's definitely like an aged picture, like was probably more from like, again, when my mom was little, you know, that kind of stuff, like those ones I'll start and put those ones in like a pile. Anything that's like older than, you know, like I said, kind of like the 80s or, you know, before the 90s, I guess. And then everything after that, like when all of her grandkids and, you know, nieces and nephews kind of were born, then try and organize the pictures like post that, like more modern era, and then I can break it down from even there from further, and then kind of do it like, okay, by decade, okay, now by year, like I said, if that's how we're gonna wind up working it out. But my brain's been kind of working at this for a while and I'm thinking about it, but like I said, that's how I ended up kind of doing ours. And like I said, it was a pretty smooth process, but you know, since it was the first time I ever ended up really going through all of the pictures, it obviously ended up taking quite some time. And like I said too, I was super detailed about how I was putting things in order. So like I said, the fact that, you know, again, she probably just wants them, you know, again, semi, you know, like organized, but not, like I said, quite as detailed as the way I ended up doing ours. You know, it might not take me quite that long. But like I said, I know ours ended up taking me at least a couple days. And the thing was too, is that I set everything out like on a card table and went through them. And I was even thinking too, like, I'm not sure where she'd want me to do them, but I was like, her basement, like, which is where I'll probably wind up, because she's got like 2 beds down there. So I was thinking it might just stay down there. If that's where pictures are already, I might wind up leaving them down there on top of it too, and then just kind of like spreading out on the floor and being able to kind of just put things and start piling, you know, things where they have to go or whatever. Unless she wants me to do them upstairs and, you know, like and she wants to, you know, go through them as well, because she was even saying too, she's like, if there's pictures in there of like people that I don't even know, she, like, honestly, I'm just gonna pitch them, because you know, they might have been pictures that she was like given from, you know, like a Christmas card, pictures of family, friends, or something like that. And so she was saying that too, she's like, because I have way too many pictures. And I was like, honestly, I feel like that's probably kind of true, because like we inherited a lot of the pictures from my grandma, and so we had like a ton of pictures as well, in addition to you know, like our family pictures, you know, like the ones my mom and dad had. Then we also had a lot of pictures from my grandma. So we have, like I said, way more pictures because of that. And so again too, it's probably kind of similar as well. Like my aunt, you know, she just has a lot of pictures that, you know, like she probably also inherited from like my great grandparents also, because my grandma did have like a handful of those kind of pictures. But you know, again, and she's, you know, like I said, seen multiple generations as well. She probably has a lot of different pictures. But I do know that, like, unless she started printing them out recently, she also kind of, again, at that era moved into the digital photo age. So I'm not entirely sure if she has all of them on digital, you know, like has digital ones and doesn't have copies of like physical pictures, or she did wind up making physical pictures too, so then it might be a little bit more hard, because she could have stuff that's like up until, you know, like just a couple years ago, which would be, again, a lot of pictures. But like I was saying, I'm looking forward to kind of doing that. I'm excited about it. I just have been trying to plan too, because I'm like, it's just gonna be the two of us. Like, we got to figure out kind of what we're gonna be doing for like food. I was also too thinking about like, you know, bringing like either my computer or something like that too, just to have like something on kind of in the background to be able to watch while I'm doing it at the same time as well. So like I was saying, I'm trying to think of like how this, you know, a whole process is gonna work too, with like just not being here. And again too, like I wanted to bring something that I could make, obviously for myself, that I can eat, but also too that, like, you know, she can have, and food that I can make for the both of us too. So like I said, guys, that is my kind of cool news that's going on soon. You know, like I said, it's not gonna be too long, but I want to try and get caught up with the vlogs, kind of, sort of, at least, you know, a little bit closer to where I'm caught up. I've been staying consistent with it, but haven't really been making like a super big leap in getting like it all taken care of. So I'd like to try and do that, so that I'm not falling super far behind for those couple days while I'm not here. So anyways, though, I'll let you guys know about that probably sooner we get to there, you know, that date. But anyways, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.